Welcome everyone to the Nerd Nook. I'm your host Evan Teagle, looking like always is Noah Bailey. So, movie's been out for a couple weeks now. We both finally seen it. It's time to finally talk about the Marvels. I know I've given very brief opinions on it. I overall enjoyed it. What are your thoughts on it?
So it's not nearly as bad as I think a lot of people are trying to make it out to be. Like
Mm-hmm.
the way people describe this movie, you would have thought it was just the worst thing you've ever seen. It's
Yeah.
not that bad.
No.
It's not great. I don't think I will probably watch it again unless someone else really wants to,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not bad. Like I've seen much worse.
Right. And I don't know what it is about about this movie specifically. Maybe it's just because it is a sequel to Captain Marvel, another movie that I think people had way overblown negative reactions to. But I don't know. Like I guess I've seen it. I've seen it twice in theaters, and both times I was like, I thought it was pretty solid. It's at least a lot of fun. Like there definitely are some issues which we'll get to, but like nothing like I feel like people who complain about a movie like this haven't seen many movies. Like there are dozens of superhero movies that are worse than this. There are
Yeah.
several MCU movies that are worse than this. I think Ant-Man 3 is way worse than this movie. It at least looks worse. Now, granted, there is just a general vibe of over hate on Marvel stuff in general now.
Yeah.
Some of it is valid. Not everything knocks it out of the park. But especially for this movie where I didn't go in with super high expectations anyway, I think it at least marginally exceeded them. I enjoyed it. But like I said, there are a couple of things that I didn't absolutely love about it. And I think that might be the best thing to do with this movie is essentially first go over what we didn't like and then go what we did like. Is that fine?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fair. Yeah.
I think my number one complaint is, especially by the end of the movie, the three main characters, their powers kinda ended up becoming very similar. Like the way they used their powers just felt very samey and a little uninteresting by the end of it. Does that make sense?
I still don't understand Monica's powers.
No,
Like at all.
no.
Because she can kind of use photon blast, but can also kind of be intangible, but can also kind of. I have no idea what
Yeah,
her powers
especially
are.
since in the beginning, the way she explained it is Carol can absorb energy, I can see it, and you can control it. But at the end, Monica absorbs energy to do the final
Right?
thing. Like, so why is that not Carol doing that? Like, she was the one who specifically is shown to be the
It
one who
doesn't.
absorbs energy. Why is Monica the one doing this now?
Yeah, like it wasn't really well explained, and then it like when it was explained, it didn't like follow through with the explanation. So you're kind of just fist makes blast. That's kind of all we got. Like
Yeah,
that's pretty much
yeah.
I don't know. Which again, I feel like if you're gonna do that, that's fine, but just own it. Don't try to
Yeah.
make it more complicated than it is.
I feel like they should have played around more with her being able to phase through people. Like,
Yes.
if there is a thing where she can like absorb energy and blast it, have Carol hit her with a blast and her amplify it. Then that
That's
would
what
have
I
been
was
cool.
thinking. That would have been kind of interesting, but not sure how that would have worked if they were changing places when doing that. But again, that also doesn't make sense. I still don't
So,
understand why that
in my
happens.
second watch, I was able to ascertain that they switched when any two of them use powers at the same
Right.
time.
Right.
The way they explain as to why they are connected still doesn't really make sense. It's like because they both touched a jump point at the same time and Kamala's band created the jump point, they're now linked, I guess. I'm not really
But
sure.
logic, wouldn't the person who made said jump point originally also be involved because of her doing the same thing with the other band? right?
You would
Because
think.
that's why I was confused. Because I was like, but if she's making them, why isn't she also switch? Like,
Maybe
that's why I was so
something
confused.
about Kamala's mutation that somehow links. I don't know. It is
But that's
really
what I
weird.
mean. Like, it's not that they didn't explain it entirely, it's that their explanation doesn't add up.
Right.
And then it's kind of just like, plus, I feel like that was an unnecessary gimmick in the first place. I mean, I guess it kind of gets the plot started, but I feel like you didn't need that to happen, really.
I mean, it was a kind of
But
fun concept. I kind of either wish it got solved earlier or they made more use of it in more creative ways, which
mm-hmm.
they did when they fought what's his name, Darben, yeah, the main villain, like on that water planet. They used it decently, but I feel they could have done
Yeah.
more with it. Um, Speaking of using more of their powers, I feel Kamala, like I said, the way she used her powers, as far as like in a combat sense, felt very samey to to Carol because like in the comics, she does a lot of like growing and stretching and like grabbing people. That's her main thing,
Mm-hmm.
like making big fists and punching or grabbing. Here, it's just a lot of like extendo arm, which essentially is a
Just
energy blast.
shooting, but not
Yeah,
really. It's kind of the same result, but technically different.
yeah.
But like, not really.
Like they should have leaned into more about her making the hard light shields and like throwing those out. And like I liked how she like made platforms for people, but I don't know. I just feel like although it was cool watching the three of them gang up on the main villain,
I
it was
That is true.
yeah.
I was gonna say that is true. They did jump her, which I do
Yes, that
appreciate.
was very fun. Um,
So let him get up. Let him get up.
yeah, I just feel like Kamala, especially of the three, should have been the one to like really diversify, but it just I don't know.
Mhm.
It didn't really do it for me. Speaking of the main villain, wow, she's
Mm.
bad. Wow.
I just like extreme, like all time forgettable. I will say that, like for sure.
I think, like, I she's kind of on the same level as Ronan the Accuser from the first Guardians movie, and I feel like people don't give that movie enough fight for having such a forgettable villain. Like, wait, who? He's just a blue guy with a big hammer, and she's just a lady with a big hammer. They're basically the same character pretty much, and like yet her motivations make kind of less sense.
See, and that's kind of my thing with just this whole movie. Everyone's reasoning for pretty much everything made no sense. Like the villain's like, "Oh, my planet's dying, so I'm going to kill other
Mm-hmm.
planets to fix my planet," which doesn't really
Mm-hmm.
make sense.
Like
And
if you're evil, that makes sense, which I guess she is. Like the
but
the
like
Kree already think that because these planets used to be a part of their empire, they owe her this. I guess
right.
they should have leaned
And
into
that's
that more.
but like my thing is I'm not against like if you think this is yours, take it back. But it was like why not just take their planet? Why destroy another
Because
planet too? That feels
because
like you're just
you live
not like
you live there, not here.
that's like being like I'm hungry and then knocking someone's sandwich on the ground. Like I, why didn't you just eat their sandwich? Like I'm so
uh,
confused. That makes more problems, not solve any. Like your planet still do like I know they're stealing the resources, but there's no way that's gonna work.
mhm.
I mean that doesn't even make any sense. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, we stole their ocean and just kind of dropped it on my planet. I'm like, huh? First of all, that makes no sense. Second of all, that's not gonna work. There's the amount of ecosystem.
yeah.
I mean, it's fine,
Yeah.
but
Also, two things about that. First, they blame their son dying on Carol destroying the Supreme Intelligence. How was the Supreme Intelligence keeping the son alive? That doesn't make sense.
that does not make
They
sense.
just kind of threw that in with the rest of the stuff. It's like, oh, we
I
used
mean,
too much
it kind of
resources.
makes sense based on how they wanted to end the movie, but that didn't really make
But
sense either. But
like water and material resources being drained during a war, sure, that makes sense. But the sun is your entire planet solar powered? Like if we if we take the logic from something like The Force Awakens, where you're literally stealing energy from the sun to produce, a giant laser that kills entire civilizations, that's one thing. But it didn't look like their planet was using the sun as a resource like that. So I'm not really sure why. I like that Carol, fixed it in the end, but I don't know why she had to have done that. But whatever.
I don't know. But
And also, I feel like this is another example, just like with Secret Invasion, which I'm sure we'll kind of tie into more in a bit. I feel like this is another prime example of a situation where the blip really should have mattered when it came to the Kree population. Like, there's this Kree civil war that broke out after the power vacuum erupted after Stream Intelligence got destroyed and then Ronan got defeated. I assume this Kree civil war has been going on for a while, but during the blip, I feel, like you could have had a thing where Dar-Benn was in power and then she got blipped, and then like when she came back, that could have started a civil war. Like all the people that got blipped like went back in power or something, but they just never address it, and that kind of annoys me.
And the thing too about not just this movie, but I feel like Marvel in general lately, it feels like the blip only happened on Earth, which by definition didn't. Like, you know what I mean? Because they even went back with Monica and talked about her with her mom and that whole thing. But like you just said, that like it feels like it had no effect on other planets really, and it's kind of like this was literally a universe-wide thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know.
I don't know.
That's just something about the MCU in general that just has been a little frustrating. Like there have been times where people disappearing would seem like it would matter or be useful to the story you're trying to tell, but they don't use it. But whatever.
I don't know. Like I realize it would probably come up too often if they went by it suit and the other way, but it's like I feel like it should at least be relevant for a lot of this stuff.
Yeah. And the last
it was 5 years.
That's a long time for stuff to get
right?
messed up or change drastically.
Like everything be different. Like you can't like had it been maybe a couple weeks or months, like maybe it's not a big a deal, but you can't just pretend people didn't notice 5 years. Mm-hmm. Also, completely unrelated, but isn't there a giant celestial like eating the planet right now or something?
No.
Still,
they stopped that. Cersei turned it to stone or whatever. So.
Okay, I don't know. I just somebody I saw something posted that they were like, yeah. So I don't know if y'all forgot about this, but isn't this happening currently? Yeah. Like 3 years ago?
Yeah, Tiamat I think is called. Like the top of his head and hand are sticking out of the Pacific Ocean. Like you think that would be a bigger deal? I think that would cause earthquakes and tidal waves or something, but not really.
I mean. First of all, how has nobody not noticed? Right. I feel like that's pretty much impossible not to notice.
The rumor is it's going to be addressed during the next Captain America movie and be brought up more during Thunderbolts, but who knows?
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we could have seen it from space probably.
Yeah.
Or Nick Fury's not watchtower.
Mm-hmm. My last real complaint I have with this movie is I know that the whole premise of the first 2/3 is the fact that, the characters are jumping around a lot. But even beyond that, I feel like the editing in the first half-ish was kind of a mess. The characters literally were shown to jump to one place and then all of a sudden are somewhere else. Like when Carol switched places, Monica is now on some moon or something, and then next time we see her, she's with Nick Fury, and then they switch again. And like how did she get there? Or later when Monica and Kamala are falling, and they switch with Carol, Monica and Kamala are now in the on Darbin's ship, way off in space, and then not 2 minutes later, Carol shows up. It's like, how did Carol get here so fast? Like, she's not with her ship. Like, I don't know that. There are a couple other examples like that, but just the editing in general of the first half was a little too jarring, but not in the way they were maybe going for. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any other complaints or issues or critiques you have?
So for me, I mean, obviously the singing planet was kind of just randomly thrown in there.
I love
that in there.
I
That was the most random thing I think I've ever seen. Like I was very unexpected.
I was here for it. I wish that went for longer.
I was just kind of like, oh, we're doing this. Like I was very confused. Like it was just like, oh, that's probably gonna be a quick joke. Oh no, it's a whole thing. We're still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, and it's like it's a whole thing. It was interesting. But I guess my other biggest thing, and I wrote this down while I was watching the movie actually, but like when they're having, you know how in every movie there's the scene where the protagonists have beef with each other for some reason, like halfway through the movie.
Yep.
I was trying to wrap my head around it, and like Monica, like at least from the jump, was like angry at Carol, which was kind of like okay, but like it was weird because she had this like, you never came back, and it's like, wait, but she's Captain Marvel. She like has a galaxy to like, she's literally saving other galaxies, and it's kind of like, oh, but you didn't come back. But then later, when Carol's explaining why she didn't come back, she's like, well, I only didn't come back because I didn't want you to see the person I was and this and that. I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
no.
You didn't do anything wrong. Like she has guilt because bad people think she's a bad person. And it's like
good point.
If you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
If I stop a criminal and a criminal's like, curse you, and I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. No, like you did the right thing. Like they were evil. It's okay that they call it. What do they call it? The Annihilator?
Yeah.
It's like if bad people call you the Annihilator, that's not really a bad thing, in my opinion. So you shouldn't feel blame about that at all. Like I feel like that's a good thing, if anything. And number two, why is Monica mad that you never came back when A, you have a perfectly good reason for not to that she's fully aware of? B, you also have if you had someone on Earth, you would be that exact same person because you're in space half the time doing who knows what. So if you had people on Earth, you would be doing the exact same thing to anyone else. Like you live this life. You are a superhero, basically. Like, how are you? I don't understand. Like, if you're like a soldier or something, you can't be like you're never there for me. It's like, you guys are both deployed. Like, your logic makes no sense to me. Like, you would understand more than anyone why she's not around. And two, it's like, I mean, that's the point. Like, I don't know. Like, the motivations, like, the motivation for the conflict between the main characters made no sense, which is why I think that, Kamala Khan's is more because she didn't have any random disliking for anybody for no reason. Like, she seemed like the most reasonable person because it was kind of just like, why would you be upset? Like like this doesn't they didn't make a lot of sense for you to be upset at each other just to have like a we come together moment. It felt extremely forced.
There was that moment of Carol being upset at Kamala for causing that jump when she was like I can do it, and then
but see, that one made sense.
Yes, it's like
because I'm not upset about that because that makes sense for most. She's little, she's young, she doesn't do this is Tuesday for Captain Marvel. This is not Tuesday for Kamala, so that makes a lot of sense. And two, I mean, again, personally, I'm on Kamala's side because I'm like, I think you could have made that work. Like, I feel like you abandoned that more. I feel like you abandoned that more than you did because they did leave people behind, which is kind of like, hey, yo, you're like, Carol, you could have got them. Like, what you doing? like again, I know you can't save everyone, but sometimes I feel like they kind of didn't hustle as hard as they could have. I feel like in that situation, but again, that's
Yeah.
the whole thing.
Well,
I know you can't punch every problem, but it was kind of like you can't like at least got like or like the ship that got hit by a falling rock or something. Like you couldn't have just like caught the rock or something,
well, you
or
can't
like
risk it if other people are also using their powers, and they might, it might cause more damage or something. I don't know.
I mean, like I guess, but that's still I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I get it. Like that one made more sense, but it was mainly it was the Monica not
No, that's
liking
fair. Yeah.
Carol because it was like your reasoning is stupid in my opinion because like that makes no sense. Like if you weren't a superhero and you were just a regular person, that's one thing. You didn't know she was Captain Marvel. That's one thing. But I mean, she immediately came out. She was like, it's just like, oh yeah, Monica. It's like that's the Commander Rambo or whatever she
Captain
said.
Rainbow,
Yeah, that's Captain Rambo. And I was just kind of like, oh, we're doing this, like the like unwarranted resentment thing that every show feels like it needs to do every now and
like I
again. It's just
guess
like
the idea is from Monica's perspective. Carol lied to a child. Like she respected her, and then she lied to her. Like,
but like
yeah,
you were like what 8?
yeah.
What are you supposed to say to an 8-year-old that I'm literally going to be an intergalactic spearhead an intergalactic revolution? Sorry, I can't come back for tea time. Like I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I know she was a kid at the time, but it's not like she's literally in the organization that Captain Marvel basically works for. So you know everything about the secrets, about how big of a deal this is, how important it is, and again, you do this for a living. Also, you are also a superhero, basically. So it's like how that's like that. Like that's like if it just doesn't make sense to me. It's like it makes sense when Dick Grayson is upset that Bruce can't be there when he's like, a child. But when you're also a superhero, it's like, okay, dude, like you know what he's doing. Like you can't be mad. It's why the Amber thing from Invincible doesn't make sense.
Right.
Because it's like if you actively know what he's doing, you're either A, incredibly selfish because you think your own personal business is more important than saving lives, including your own, by the way. Or B, you're so like full of yourself, even though you're clearly wrong, you're not apologizing and just doubling down because you refuse to be incorrect, even though you clearly are. So either way, you're incredibly unlikable at this moment. So it's kind of how I feel about that. And it's just kind of like, why are we forcing this conflict? This feels dumb, but
that's fair.
They got over it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And I kind of want to pivot that into what I did like about this movie. Once they did get over their differences and like actually started meshing, I thought the three together were very, very strong. Especially Kamala, who I was a little concerned about because I didn't really like her that much in this Marvel. Oh, Kamala was amazing in this movie.
Best character.
Like I love those little moments of her clearly being out of her depths. Like when they jumped and she's like, I can't fly. or we got to Marvel, or she was like, I saw a star chart in her ship. Like, oh, where did it point to? The stars. Such a good joke. That's what I would say. Like,
well, no, because again, like she has no way of knowing. But of course, Captain Marvel doesn't think about that because she's been doing this for so long. Everyone knows where every planet in the galaxy is, right? There's other galaxies. You know what I mean? Like, no, that, and I think also Kamala's family, amazing.
Yes.
Again, I love the parents. They're so funny because they're real. Like, had I switched places with an intergalactic superhero and broken something in my room, I also would have got chewed out of it, even though they saw said superhero, and it was just kind of like, I just thought that was really funny because it was just kind of like, that would also happen to me. Like, I'm not like caring, even though they clearly saw a perfectly good explanation. oh, so it broke itself. Like,
Like Captain
like
Marvel's been a bad influence on you, so it was your fault. Like what? I didn't even
right?
know. I didn't know she was here.
Like, what are you talking about? Like,
I do actually kind of want to go into one more little thing I wasn't
mm,
super pleased with. Like in kind of throughout the movie, there were several times where I feel like the power scaling of their character, of their like of various people, was all over the place. Because what there were two goons in their living room, and
mm-hmm.
Carol couldn't beat them up.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, I guess you could argue maybe she was thrown off by where she was and knew there were like civilians, so she couldn't just.
but
And you don't want to just like.
she didn't care throwing him into the fireplace, up into the bathroom above.
Okay,
Like
that's a
she
good point.
didn't really
That's a good point.
care.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, that's a good point. I don't know. Maybe you're trying not to like Falcon punch their whole house away, but
I
at the
guess.
same time, she kind of did. So
Mm. Yeah, then
yeah, that's a good point.
Dar Ben's power was kind of inexplicable. Like, yeah, she had the hammer or whatever, but the reason why Ronan was so strong is because you literally infuse it with the Power Stone. She didn't have that. She's just a warrior. Like I don't really know. Like it didn't really explain why she's as strong as she was. Like you think, again, just Carol by herself should be able to handle it, let alone all three of them together. But and then how how Darben got taken out was very silly. Like I'm gonna use the power of both bands together to reignite the sun, at which then as soon as she got the bands, she just hits them together when she's not even near her planet and just disintegrates. It's like, what? Why'd that happen? Why did she do that? What'd she think would happen there?
Not sure. That is a good point though.
But regardless, yes, the family was amazing. Their interactions with Nick Fury was phenomenal.
Yeah, no, oh no. The part where they're like falling or whatever, and they're like praying, and then
Uh,
he's like, "Are you praying? Yeah. Well, don't stop. We don't know. We can get it." It's like they're
uh,
praying in like in their language. He's just like, "Amen," and just like throwing them in.
uh,
Just
hell
like,
yeah.
yeah, I thought that
I
was
don't know why they
hilarious.
survived. They really should have died during that
No, of
crash.
course no. I mean, that entire plan to like save them, and also having the like cat things eat the people, that made no
I
sense.
adored that scene so much.
That was so.
Like
It was.
like that song is from Cats the Musical. If you didn't know that,
I did not.
yeah, that's like the big song from Cats the Musical, which is amazing. And like the vibe of that scene kind of gave me like a reverse version of the scene from Guardians 2 where Groot and Yondu are killing all those Rocket and Yondu are killing all those people, all the Ravengers, like to do that song. Like we're going around, eating people, but we're actually trying to save them. Like it just, I don't know, it just kind of gave that similar vibe of like terror, but like actually, it's for a good
Terrible, but
reason.
actually in a good way.
Yeah. And yeah, just the I like how they realize, yes, like Goose, the cat from Captain Marvel was one of the highlights, so we're gonna just have more cats. Yeah, like more cats. Why not?
No, I don't know. I just thought that was funny. It was just like
Mm,
it was. And again, I think stuff like that is what's missed for a lot. I think it's just like good comedy, but also just like it just felt like a good scene. It was like
yeah.
just I don't know, I enjoyed a lot of these things in these
Oh
movies.
yeah.
Like it was just like this movie had enough positive stuff that it worked in my
Hmm.
opinion.
Yeah. I One more little negative. I think the
Mm.
costumes they wore by the end of the movie were terrible. I don't like any of them. Kamala specifically looked way too over designed, and like especially since her costume from the end of Miss Marvel was so good, she didn't really get to wear that for this movie. There wasn't a moment of all three of them wearing their outfits before and then after. And Carol's outfit was like had very muted colors. Monica's was fine,
Yeah,
but just I don't know. I feel like their idea of an upgraded suit was not what I
kind
would
of
have gone with.
downgraded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but the costuming in general was great. Um, like I really liked all the different like costumes and designs on the singing planet. I really liked when they're singing and Kamala is just in it, like she is like dancing and just like it feels like this is just kind of environment that she would thrive in. Um, Again, I wish that scene was longer, but you disagree. That's fine. um, yeah, like you said, overall, I really had a lot of fun watching it. The action scenes were generally very very good. There there are some issues, but I think the positives definitely outweigh the negatives for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was way better than people are saying. I think people want to be upset because it wasn't, if it's not the best movie ever, it stinks,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. And it's just like I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, and I really hope that this movie not doing all that well doesn't negatively impact anything they have for the future because they tease Young Avengers, which finally, like we've had these children in this universe for years now, and now we're finally maybe going to get something out of it. So, you know, hopefully that comes to fruition. And then mutants are finally here, like actually, well, not here, over, in a different dimension, but still on, actually on screen, again after Professor X. So
Yeah, that
like,
was wild. I was not expecting that, but I will take it.
yeah, yeah. Uh, like Kelsey Grammer as Beast was always a fantastic casting.
Hmm.
So at least him being Beast in this other universe that like I don't think I really hope they don't do a thing where it is literally that universe. It is a universe that we've already seen in those movies. Um, even even the way Spider-Man No Way Home did it, I felt was a little cheap. It's like, oh, they just so happen to pick the universes that we, the audience, have already seen. That seems a little contrived, but whatever. But yeah, trying to think, what's there? No, there's that one. Yeah, like I said, overall, I enjoyed it. It's like I put it like an 8 out of 10 overall for me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I would say probably 7.5. But yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Okay, yeah, like
Uh,
I I feel like it's honestly I think it's pretty easy to recommend it just as a fun movie just to like pop on at least to watch once, you know, like there's nothing like super overly majorly wrong with it that I can't be like, oh, if you want to waste an hour and a half, watch this. But like, because there are some movies that, like even superhero movies like Daredevil or Catwoman or whatever, or Green Lantern that are just
oof,
like just bottom of
horrible.
the barrel, terrible. Like some of them are kind of funny, but not really worth it.
No, I mean, no, I mean, this isn't a movie that's painful to watch.
No, not even not no, not even a little. Um, but I like even going into this movie, I was thinking as long as it's as good or better than Captain Marvel, which again I kind of liked but didn't absolutely love, it's gonna be pretty good. And I thought it was at least as good or better than Captain Marvel, right?
The original?
Yeah,
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 definitely.
yeah. Like, like I liked Carol's character a lot better in this movie. She actually kind of faced
Yes.
diversity. She didn't really in the
Yes.
first one.
And she wasn't, and I feel like in the first one, she wasn't really likable. This one, I feel like she's more likable because I think she's more understandable in the terms of you're a veteran trying to work with people who don't really do what you do, at least
Mm,
not to that level, but also, you don't really have social skills because your best friend is a alien cat.
yeah.
So,
So her having to interact with this person who's fangirling over her is just
right.
it's cool. But yeah, like I, I still recommend it. Like it'll be at least be in theaters for another week or so. Like if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Don't like have super high expectations, but like don't go in expecting it to be the worst movie you've ever seen, because it
No.
unless you've seen one other movie, like it's not gonna it's pretty solid. And that seems to be a thing this year specifically with movies, for people to kind of try to bag on movies that no one's seen, try to say that they're the worst things ever, and that's why no one's seen it without actually watching it themselves. The same exact thing happened with Blue Beetle. That movie is great. Yeah, people said it's terrible, even though they admitted that they hadn't seen it. Like, what are you doing?
How do you say something?
I don't know.
Uh, that's my thing. I don't know how you say something's. I don't know, man. I feel like if you haven't seen it, especially something that just came out, how are you gonna just go and be like, "Yeah, this is horrible. Don't watch it," and then it's like, bro, I don't. What are you?
I don't know.
They haven't come out yet. What are you doing? Like,
It is one of those movies where, like, if you're not super into it, the flaws potentially could outweigh negatives if you just are in a bad mood, or just, I don't know. Because sometimes you watch a movie and you're just not, you're just in a mood, but you're not going to love it. And then you watch it a second time later and you're like, oh, I actually like this quite a bit. That actually happened with me with Kung Fu Panda 2. First time I saw it, I didn't really like it. And then I watched it again recently. That movie's great. Like, that just happens sometimes. But I think if you go in with a good mindset, with the idea that, at least to give it a chance, I think you'll enjoy what you get. So, that being said, this movie has not been doing that great at the box office. I don't even think it's crossed 200 million yet, which is
whoa.
Let me double check. But last I checked, it was like 189. It's
that bad?
Yeah. I think it had the lowest box office opening for any Marvel movie or any MCU movie. And yeah, it's currently
That's so disrespectful.
Yeah, it's currently sitting at 188 million.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like part of that is people just don't like Brie Larson. Part of that is they weren't able to advertise it with nearly enough time. And I mean, that's just, I don't know, man.
I have a list of reasons why I think people didn't go see it. Yes, for some reason, people have an inexplicable hate for Brie Larson.
I mean, apparently Brie Larson as a person in real life is not amazing. But
like, she could be a little annoying.
I don't think she's like despicable. I think she's just one of those people that generally is not super likable. I don't think she's not like a bad person or anything.
I think the problem is, she's very excitable. She's very, like, she gets like, I don't know, because the main thing people complained about was during her press tour for Captain Marvel, she was just like being very, like, I guess, aggressively excited about playing the most powerful character in Marvel, and people kind of took that the wrong way, of her being like, oh yeah, like, it's so cool that I'm playing this character that's stronger than Thor or whatever. Like, her just like, being excited about playing this character. And then she also made comments about how like reviewers weren't talking highly about the Wrinkle in Time movie, and they're like, well, the reason is because that movie wasn't made for a lot of the people that are reviewing it. It's like, it's not for, and people like took that as some weird woke stance about how, like, I don't know, it's messy. A lot of stuff that people don't like her for is stuff that's like telephoned into being like super negative, when like the original comment isn't even that bad, or is actually good, but people don't see it that way. It's really confusing. I don't really have to kind of get into all of it right now, but she actually does have a YouTube channel, which is actually pretty delightful. Like, she just is like a day in her life stuff. It's I don't think she's a bad person. I think people just for some reason have perpetuated this idea that she's unlikable, and because of that, people just kind of view her that way. I don't know. It's obviously people can have their own opinions. That's just what I've seen.
Yeah.
So there's that. Second, the actor strike killed this movie.
Yes.
It's it ended like mere days before the movie came out, so they couldn't get any of the people on talk shows or talking about it on social media or whatever until the week after the movie had already been out. Like Iman Vellani, the girl that plays Miss Marvel, like she did her rounds on late night shows and she was amazing on those. Like she is a rising star. Like I guarantee within the next 5 years she's gonna go places. Like she's built for this environment. And she was, like she again just very very excitable about playing this character, just like gushing about how cool it was to work with Sam Jackson. Just it was great to watch her talk about this movie. And I think if we had more press, like more press with the three of them together leading up and just talking more about it, I think it at least would have gotten more eyes onto knowing that it existed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which, speaking of which, just the advertising in general was terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess that's what when you have an actor strike like that, it's like, yeah, that just kind of, because you can't really promote the movie, so so it's like,
Yeah.
what are they supposed to do? I guess.
But it's not even just the actor not being able to promote the movie. The trailers that they showed were actively trying to promote a different movie. I went and watched the trailer that dropped the week of. It was like the Monday before the movie came out. That trailer had like a bunch of shots of other Avengers in it. It had some weird unused dialogue from Thanos talking over the first part of it, and then framing it as if Dar-Benn was gonna like finish what he started. And that trailer hardly showed any Monica or Kamala. It basically tried to frame it as like a Captain Marvel 2. She's the new, she's the new Avenger who's going to be going after this Thanos light character. But that's not at all what the movie is. So not only could the actors not talk about it, the trailers that they were showing were not showing the movie. They were kind of showing a worse movie.
Right.
So yeah, just not ideal. They did not play their cards right. Like they should have acknowledged, hey, we got to do the best we can with considering the circumstances. And they didn't do that. And another thing is, before the movie came out, people were always complaining about the fact that you have to watch like three Disney Plus shows, watch 2 other movies, like all these other stuff before watching it. When no, you don't.
Not really.
No, they like when the first time the characters like met up, they had a scene where Monica explained, "Oh, I walked through a witch's hex and I got these powers." Like, "Oh, that's cool." And then later, Kamala just kind of offhandedly was like, "Where'd you get that band?" "My grandma, she mailed it to me." Like that's funny. It's like you get it. You don't need to watch the entire show to understand like how her powers work when they show it within the show.
No, and again, like Monica getting powers was like 2 seconds of like WandaVision. Like that was not like that's not really that important.
And Secret Invasion didn't matter at all, and that really annoys me.
Weird, because that just happened.
Yeah. I really hate that I sat through that show with it to not actually matter at all. Like, I thought for sure Monica would show up. I thought something with the Skrulls would matter, but no, the Skrulls are just still good in this movie. Like, they briefly mentioned a Skrull Kree summit that was being held. That did happen in this movie. That would have happened anyway, so... Oh, it was dumb. So no, you really only needed to watch Captain Marvel. Even then, there was a bunch of recap to show what happened in the first movie. You could just watch this movie and be fine. It's
yes.
But I have an issue with, even if there was required reading, the first trailer.
Isn't that every movie?
Kind of, like, unless it's like the first movie in a franchise, like kind of like.
I mean, we're this far in. It's like, Yeah, like we're this far in, so it's like, yeah, pretty. There's a lot of required reading, just
Mm-hmm.
kind of off the cuff, but at the same time, not like. Is there required reading to get every detail? Yes. Is there
Mm-hmm.
required reading to enjoy the movie? No.
No. But even if you had to watch something before this, the first trailer came out like 6 months ago. Like you have plenty of time to watch these things. Like,
And that's the thing. Like these movies don't just like pop up like now next week we getting whatever. It's like no, this has been on the list for yeah. Dates get moved around, but I
mm-hmm,
mean like these movies they take a while before they actually come out after they're
mm-hmm,
announced. Like you have time. Not to mention like everything's on Disney Plus. So
right? Like, just get Disney Plus for a month. Take 4 weeks to watch all the things you need to watch. Cancel it if you want to. It's like I don't
mm-hmm.
see the problem. Like it's only 12, 9, what 21 episodes of stuff. Like I don't know. They're not like they're hour-long episodes each. At least not all of them. So it's not. I don't know. I don't understand that complaint from many different angles, but whatever. And the last major reason that I came up with is the fact that it is good, but not really good enough for word of mouth to really do its thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because there definitely have been movies where it didn't start off super, super hot, and then over time just kind of you know, built up over time and actually ended up doing pretty well. This didn't, get to do that. But oh well, what are you gonna do? Yeah, like I said, hopefully the failure of this movie, box office wise, doesn't stop these characters from existing in future stuff. Doesn't mess with any plans they have.
Probably not.
Yeah, I really hope that all parties involved acknowledge that it wasn't really the movie's fault. It was the actors' strike. It was just general sentiment about superhero fatigue in general. You know, because that is also a major issue. We've had a lot of superhero stuff this year. Some of it really good, some of it okay, some of it absolute gutter trash. This is not that third one. Like there is no universe where this movie should make less money than The Flash. It is
Oh
going to make a
boy.
lot less money than The Flash.
Ugh, that did happen
Yeah,
this year, didn't it?
keep
Oh
forgetting that's
man.
this year, but it is.
Oh man, that was something.
Mm-hmm. Like,
Yeah, I don't know about that. But hey,
whatever.
here we are.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Moving on to a really good superhero thing that came out this year.
Mm,
Invincible season 2 part 1.
mm.
Yeah.
The only thing that makes me upset is that we have to wait for part two.
Yeah, which I'm fine with if it needs just a little more time for polish. Like the director said that he's noticed with other stuff that he's worked on, episodes that come out around Christmas just kind of get buried. So he's like, we're gonna wait till after Christmas and just have a strong start next year. I'm okay with that.
That's fair.
Yeah, especially with how this last episode was set up. It really did
Mm-hmm.
feel like a mid-season break. So
Yeah,
man, that episode was good.
man. Dude, no, that was reason I was not ready for that. That was a lot that happened. First of all, we gotta talk about Omni-Man.
Mm-hmm.
This man did the same thing in like 2 months. He just packed it up, and he's got another kid. I mean, he wasn't playing. He's like, I could just start over, make another kid,
Yeah,
and he did.
he did.
He said, "No." I
Like,
was like, "No." I was like, "No." And with like, no offense, but with the bug people, which like,
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess Viltrumite just don't discriminate. But I'm like, bro,
Well,
that's
they usually
crazy.
do, but I guess he doesn't now.
I guess, but I'm just like, bro, that's crazy to me to
Mm-hmm.
be doing that. And like, you just like you, and then he acts all upset when all people. I'm like, bro, you just did this. Like, and again, had it been like 50 years or something, or
Mm-hmm.
all this, but it was been like what three months maybe.
Yeah, it was a couple
Like, yeah,
months.
and Omni-Man makes this whole point in the first season finale of, oh, all this time there's been a spec to me. So if 20 years was a spec to you, 3 months was probably you blinked and you missed it, and you just forgot all this that happened, and you're just okay, just now when this planet gets toppled because I'm not the one doing the toppling, it's messed up. Like, what's up with that?
I
Like,
did like that moment where he sees the city destroyed. He's like, "Why do I care so much?" It's like I'm not supposed to care. It's like
he's like, this is how you should have felt on Earth, and I'm like,
yeah,
thank you, Mark.
yeah, exactly.
Also, props to Mark for like not just like completely folding immediately and being like, "You're right, Dad." He was like, "Nah, you're trash." Like I'm like, "Thank you." Like, please make sure we like. But I also appreciate that as a good person and as a hero, he didn't just screw the other people there just because his dad's terrible. He's like, "Look, it's not your fault. I don't blame you, but this is insane."
Yes,
Which is totally fair.
like he has every right to, but we already saw when he was down in Atlantis, like, people who aren't his people are getting attacked. Yeah, he still went back and helped them.
Yes.
So, like, that's just
he's a good person. He's a hero. It's and then them other Viltrumite showed up. Yo.
Oh.
Yo.
One kind of really fun detail is when Mark is finally decided to go ham on that one lady, the combo he does is the same combo that Omni-Man does in the other timeline to kill the Immortal, which is very good.
Nuts.
Yeah,
actually nuts.
Yeah. The only difference is Mark does a backhand, whereas he did the
he slices. Yeah. Which, but bro,
still
I mean, dude.
Oh.
I mean, no, but the hands was crazy. When the big ones beat up, and he just held him into the ground with the big. I was like, oh no, don't do that. Like that. Like if someone's doing that to you lost, like, man. That's it.
It's one of those things where like a power lifter here could do that to me, let alone a power lifter that's hundreds of years older than I am, who gets stronger as he ages. Like, yeah.
No. And that is one thing I do like about the book. Like, there's variety in body types. Because everyone's like, "Oh, he's not jacked." I'm like, "Oh, he's jacked. He's just not like like." There's different types of strength. There's the strong man build where you're crazy strong, but you're not like super cut lean. And like, Omni-Man's more cut, he's more lean. That's probably why he's faster, stuff like that. But bro could just he's just tanking all these hits from him, and it's just like, oh gosh.
And when he grabbed that lady's hair and elbow.
I
had to watch that a good 3 times. It was great.
That was the most Mortal Kombat thing I've ever seen. I was like, yo. Just broke her entire jaw off her face, bro. I was weak. Like, that was so brutal. But I love her design. Like, she had the hair knife whip thing. Like, that was so cool. Because your hair is also indestructible, so it's a weapon too. And like, I just they were simple but good designs. I really thought it was really cool. Like, yeah, but man, those fights were brutal. Yeah. And then when the general dude and he's voiced by Clancy Brown, I was like, yeah, he's got he had the Lex Luthor, the calculated evil, like, I'm so evil but can still destroy. Like, oh, dude, was I'm so excited for that, bro.
I am so excited for Mark to get back to Earth. I don't know if he's gonna go full evil or if he's gonna try to put on a show just to make the Viltrumites happy. But no matter what he does, that guy who can hop dimensions, he's gonna not be happy with it.
Right.
I'm really looking forward to him doing more.
Yeah, my thing is, what do you do if that, Mario? What do you do if you're him? They're sending you that, you get sent back to Earth, and they're like, look, you either enslave them your way, or we're just gonna do it our way. And it's like, How do you even?
Yeah.
Because I mean, three of them could, you know what I mean? Like three of them's one thing, but if they just bring everyone, you're done. Like there's no way.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're gonna die, and everyone's gonna die. Like you don't like one Omni-Man by himself could have enslaved the entire planet. An army of them, you have no chance.
Like best case scenario, the
You
bug
get some
child,
people up.
the bug child that Omni-Man had survived, and he comes to Earth to help Mark fight them. But that's still two against the world. Like,
and he's not gonna and he's not old. I mean, in the way they age, he's not gonna. It's not gonna work like that because I know the Viltrumite aging thing. You know, it's like it takes most of their DNA, and they're apparently the bug people. They only lived like a year long, which is crazy.
Yeah,
which I do kind of think that was kind of a cool point. But I guess my thing is like, even if those are mixed together, like this is probably going to be a couple of months before the Viltrumites show up. So I don't think he's really going to have time like that. But I don't know. This is crazy. I mean, maybe you try to get, and also not in this episode, but we gotta talk about Alan for a second. Yo, I love me an Alan episode, but my man got pummeled. I mean, good.
It's so funny how, like, yeah, Alan didn't get 2 words out to his girlfriend about there being a spy before they just zoomed in there and got him.
Yeah, no, he just like it was crazy, and they like there was no word. It was just absolutely nope. All right, fine. You get one chance. Tell us what we want to know. Now we're talking about. All right, kill him. All right, like they don't play games. Like I respect it.
And the chief guy of the council, voiced by Optimus Prime. He's probably a Viltrumite. He has a mustache, and he's
he has a mustache.
All of them have mustaches.
He has facial hair. He must be evil. Oh my gosh.
I mean, they did kind of hint that, you know, the people that one planet that just joined the coalition got attacked immediately.
Yeah.
Like he told Alan there's a spy, and then as soon as he told someone else, he got killed. Like it just feels like he's in on it.
Definitely could be. Yeah. I mean, I did think it was kind of cool that you have the guy who's famous for being one of the best heroes in Optimus Prime. It's like, oh, he's the bad guy. I thought that was a good if you're in the know, you're like, oh, Optimus would never kind of thing. I said that to my brother, and he was like, I don't get that vibe. I was like, see, you're not in the know. I think this was like one of those like deeper, like I don't know, or maybe I'm just overthinking it. But still, I'm so excited. It's gonna be so good.
I really liked at the very end we had the Mahler twins, with one of them clearly just super messed up, and he's like,
yes,
the inferior clone, get me, do everything for me.
and as anyone would have done, dude immediately poisons him. I'm like, you're not even gonna check that? Like, what's wrong? Come on, man.
I was like, why? At first, I was like, why hadn't they tried this before? Making a clone and intentionally doing something to make them different. But yeah, that's why, because they don't.
That's why, because they're gonna die. But I like that in-universe reason for just not being able to tell who's the clone. I think that's really smart.
Yeah. Yeah, we gotta wait like 5 more weeks. It's coming. What we can tell is coming first week of January. So
okay.
I'd wait that much longer, but just. And then they said the wait for season 3 won't be nearly as long. So
see, they say that, but what are we talking about here?
My guess is by November of next year we'll be
okay. That's what I hope for, man. Because I don't know, the waiting has been rough, man. It is to wait years and then 4 episodes, and then it's like, all right, we gotta wait again. It's like
the Adam Eve special in there in between.
I mean, we did, and that was pretty good. I will say that, but still, it's good to be back. Yep. And it's back. It feels good, man. Gosh, and the stuff with Donald, and I really want to figure that out. What's going on with him? Because I'm like, he's
a robot.
It's getting interesting. I mean, probably, or some kind of cloned super soldier or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but why? Why him? Why?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, what's he so important for? Like, I don't get it. But
Yeah,
like,
like if
I
Cecil
don't think he
can
gets
make
it either.
if Cecil can make clones or robot clones or whatever, why not just make more Cecils? Why Donalds?
Then they will be like, "Who's the clone?" and then they'll try to kill each
Yeah,
other.
that's fair. Because
I'm the
it does
original.
make sense that Cecil would have the cloning technology. Like
Yes.
he would have that, I would think. So yeah, that's or no, no. I would say, or he could be a Donald from a different dimension. He somehow got hold of that technology, but probably
Probably not. Yeah,
robot.
I feel like multiverse is still just happening. My thing though is there is no way a pair of glasses would have survived that explosion at all.
Oh, you're right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Oh.
I was like, no, man. Like, I mean, the whole house disintegrated, but the glasses,
I mean,
like,
maybe they're special glasses. I don't know.
as if the house wasn't special house. Like,
No, no.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, what? I mean, I know. It's just, I don't know. I feel like that was an unnecessary add-on to be more, make it more. I'm like, if he knew he was just gonna find the film, I felt like the glasses part didn't need to be done. But
Yeah.
you know, whatever.
Yeah, it definitely it's let me put it this way. It's one of those things that is absolutely incredible if there isn't a weird nerd whispering into your ear that it's bad. Because on Twitter, there's this, oh, so many people are complaining about things being changed or not looking exactly like the comics or whatever. I just say, shut up. It's great. Who cares?
What's the point? Really?
Like, oh, there's this one shot that looks exactly like the shot from the comics, but it's actually way bloodier in the comics, therefore worse. But like, it looked good. I don't.
Bro, no one has ever heard of these comics before this show came out. If you
Exactly.
did, you're lying. Like, I don't, like, no, you didn't. Like, bro, come on. Like, it doesn't matter. But I don't know. People are just never gonna be happy. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what you can do.
Yeah. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. I said very, very excited for the second half. So looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Speaking of superhero things I'm looking forward to, we finally got some more casting for Superman Legacy.
Yeah.
First, Skylar Gisondo, who looks exactly like Jimmy Olsen, is cast as Jimmy Olsen. Have you seen this guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I saw it and I was just like, oh, all right. Like,
It's like we got a Superman that
like,
looks like Superman. We got a Lois that looks like Lois, and now Jimmy who looks exactly like Jimmy.
yeah, it was funny because it was just kind of like this guy's casting your own. I was like, oh, is this like edited? No. Oh, okay, perfect.
Give him a green jacket and a camera, and that's Jimmy Olsen.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's Jimmy.
Like, I don't really, I haven't seen anything that he's acted in, but just purely from appearances, which I think is kind of what James Gunn is going for with these castings. Like, yeah, great, and like, kind of like equally so, Nicholas Holt has been confirmed as Lex Luthor.
I like it.
Like, he's one of those actors with like if I only knew him as the guy who played Beast in X-Men First Class, I wouldn't like this choice because I didn't really like him as that character in those movies. But he's been in a lot of stuff. He has such a wide variety of different like tones he's taken, different like positions of just authority within different movies and stuff. He can play cold and calculate. He can play like someone who feels inferior, but also like knows that he's good, but not quite as good as someone else. Like I just feel like if you take wholesale his entire acting career up to this point, he is absolutely perfect for Luthor. So I just need to see how he looks bald. Other than that, like I don't necessarily need him to start off the movie bald, but I would
Yes,
like
it
him
is.
to end the movie bald because of
Just
script
be,
night poisoning or whatever.
just be bald the whole time, just so that we don't have any like Just do it. Like it's
Uh,
okay. Like you will be like, come on,
like I,
like do it for the fans.
yeah, I just need a scene in some Superman thing of like of Superman, first starting out, getting cat out of the tree, getting just like doing generic Superman stuff, saving people, being on the news, and then you like pan up to Luthor Tower, him standing at the top, just arm behind his back, looking down, and just being like these people used to respect me, and now this guy's here. Like I can just see Nicholas Holt killing that kind of role.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and them being about the same height and age is also a win. Yeah, like I think James Gunn is cooking up something very special with this movie. I'm still obviously not. I'm not concerned, but I'm a little curious about how all those other characters are going to be involved because we still have obviously Hawk Woman, Green Lantern, a couple other characters are also going to be thrown in there as well. So we still don't really know who the villain is going to be. Like unless Lex Luthor obviously could just be the villain, but I have a feeling some other character is also gonna like. There's rumors about Brainiac. I hope they don't pull. I hope they don't. Oh, I
It's
hope they
too
don't do
early.
Brainiac yet. Yeah, it's too
I feel
early.
like you can just do Lex and then just do like a pretty generic Superman villain. Like you could kind of just do anybody. I feel like,
Yeah,
or really, I mean, honestly, you probably don't even really have to. You can probably just do Superman.
like I, yeah, like I'm trying to think. Like I think Toyman would be a very fun villain just to like have as like
Okay.
a mid movie, mini
Hmm.
boss type character.
Now, how would you do Toyman?
How would I do Toyman?
Yeah.
I would. Trying to think because I want it to somehow tie in with Lex Luthor.
Hmm.
Um, I would want Toyman to come out Superman with a big robot, and by after Superman takes out that robot, he finds out that the robot was supplied by LexCorp, or at least had parts that were
Okay.
made by LexCorp,
Okay.
and then that makes him start to investigate
Right.
Lex and go from there.
Right. But no, like, as far as Toyman the villain, would he be like a man child? Would he be an actual kid? Would he be
Oh yeah,
like
he'd be like a doll sized, like he is in Superman the animated series, where he's like,
okay, like some kind of like okay, yeah? Because I'm like in that universe, is he like a doll sized thing? Like I don't even know what he is. I'm like, it's not really
no,
clear.
I don't even
He's just
remember.
creepy.
Yeah, I don't remember if he is possessed or if he is a doll. I don't remember.
That's the thing. I'm not really sure. I got to see it again.
Mm,
But I mean, he's a genius and he is a brilliant, inventor and stuff. So it's
yeah.
like, okay, he's capable. That's all that really matters.
Mm-hmm. But I know whatever James Gunn picks, it'll be. I'm sure they'll
Yeah,
do it justice.
I'm confident. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it'll be. I'm excited.
Oh yeah. That's coming up still 2025. So uh, I know they can't make it come out any earlier, but man.
It'll happen.
Yeah. Now, a DC project I'm not super hyped on is the animated Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1 movie. I don't know how they did it, but they made Crisis on Infinite Earths look super boring.
Well, I think the reason Crisis I think works is because you have characters that you're established with, and then you get a lot of like alter egos or different, just
Mm,
different versions, similar stuff, kind of stuff.
right.
And I feel like it doesn't work here because we don't really know these characters that well,
Mm-hmm.
even interacting with each other. Because I mean, we went from separate movies to like one thing together to now, oh yeah, the whole Justice League is established now
Yeah.
and all this stuff. And we're like, oh, when did that happen? And we're just supposed to accept that everyone's just like great now. And it's like, well, we
Yeah.
don't really know any of these characters that well.
Yeah. And the main like other universe that they go to in this trailer is the like the one with the crime syndicate with Ultraman and all them. When like we already have a great animated movie that does that with Crisis on Two Earths, so you don't need to
And it
redo
does
that.
it better.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I feel like this would have been a fantastic opportunity to kind of basically just do what the CW show did and like take a bunch of different animated adaptations and I don't know. You still there?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. I think my internet weirdly cut out for a second. Um, yeah, like take a bunch of of different animated adaptations and like have different art style. Like
That's what I thought they were gonna do.
like go to the Teen Titans world, go to the '60s like Justice Friends world, like
Yeah.
go to the Justice.
Surprisingly, Teen Titans Go did this better.
Yeah, go to the
That was actually
Justice League Unlimited, Young Justice, like.
Oh, that'd be so sick.
But,
If they like, I ain't gonna lie. If somebody did, that would probably be my favorite thing ever.
Right.
Because that's different. You could easily do that.
mm-hmm.
I mean, not easily, but
Now there
you
is
could definitely make that happen.
there is a chance that they could do something like that in part two, like this movie essentially, but everything is I guess reset again, and maybe Mary will go back in time and like because he goes back in time, he goes to this other universe that is like one we've been to before. I don't know. I just feel like from what we saw in the trailer, it's just a little too small for what Crisis usually is. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I'll have to actually watch the movie, but I'm not feeling it right now.
Yeah, but I don't know. In the last couple of movies, I don't know if you've seen that Justice League, like Worlds movie.
I heard it's not great. It's not great.
Anyway.
Oh no! Oh no!
Anyway, we can probably talk about some other time. We don't have time,
Okay,
but anyway, just like I don't. The Tomorrowverse movies have not been that great because I mean, The Long Halloween I enjoyed.
Yeah,
I like Superman, Man of Tomorrow, and then the rest of them.
I haven't seen any others. I don't think.
I'm about to say it. I know Green Lantern Where My Power was not a good movie at all, in my opinion.
I just got a really bad smell off of the Legion of Superheroes movie. I just
that one was also not great either.
Yeah,
but they're like I think they're like 4 L's in a row or something like that. Like, I don't know. It's like because it was like what is it like the Legion of Superheroes movie? There's Green Lantern, World, and then I guess this is the next one. Am I missing one? I don't think so.
This universe has only been like 3 years old. It's so weird they're doing Crisis now. It's like
they like. I mean, I think they're panicking because they just throw they literally like they were. I think they were originally gonna go for like a build a universe thing. Slowly, and then they were like, no, we want Justice League stuff. So they're like, okay, we're just gonna go, but like we pass the forming of the initial Justice League to the point where we're like at like not like C tier members, but like we're kind of far in, and just didn't go back and explain any of it, and it was just kind of like what.
And the way they did it, this is actually like just like World is the first Justice League movie. But that movie only really has 3 Justice League members in it. Like, that's like
and they're not really, and they don't really interact. Really, they kind of do their own thing. So it's like, I don't know. It's
So
I don't know. DC animation for a long time has been really good, and this new like series of movies has been pretty bad lately. So it's definitely a new feeling because usually DC animation's pretty much on top of it, with a few exceptions, of course.
I don't really know what happened. Like, I know why they felt they needed to change up the New 52 style because those comics are old. The comics have been through I think at least one, maybe even 2 different like renditions since New 52 because Rebirth. I think there's like a newer
Rebirth.
one.
I think it's I forgot, but yeah, I think you're right. I think it was like a more recent, like in the last year or two or
Mm.
something. So
So
I don't
it
know,
makes
but
sense to want to pivot to a brand new
yeah, but
style,
like
but the writing and just general world building has been worse than the one that wasn't that great in the first
terrible.
place.
No, I mean it's like god awful world building.
like
Like I understand that you don't have to read like yeah, we don't need to see, Crime Alley every single time or stuff like that. But I mean like you gotta have I think every version of a DC universe has to have the Justice League. I don't think you can just start with the Justice League. I think you need to have them coming together.
I, I don't hate that. At least have like they had Man of Tomorrow, they had Justice Society with Wonder Woman, and a couple other characters, and Barry is just in that. They had obviously Long Halloween, and then like the end of that, let's go make Justice League, and then the next movie was Green Lantern.
Yes, with
like
like fully established Justice League with a bunch of members to the point where Hal Jordan is like in the Green Lantern Hall of Fame already, even though we have not seen him at all in
yeah,
this universe. So that so we skipped probably at least 10 years, I would
and
think.
then we skip to Legion of Superheroes. what?
Like Batman and Superman have legit never had a conversation
The first time they have a
on
conversation
screen.
is in that movie when he
And then
scolds
we
him
go to
for
Legion
having.
of Superheroes. And it's
Ah,
like, what?
what?
How are we
like,
doing?
I
What?
really like this Batman. I really like this Superman. I want them to actually be a team. Like, I think this would have been a great opportunity for a World's Finest movie or something like that. But
That would have been a good way. And that's kind of how I feel like it should go. Like, you make a few superheroes, you kind of like have them interacting, but it doesn't have to be Justice League. Because, like, I feel like if you have the Justice League meeting, it doesn't have to be the first time everyone meets each other.
right, yeah,
Because, like, I think some should know each other or at least know of each other, and some don't, which
mm-hmm.
is fine. And then it comes together. And I think that's, because like Batman and Superman, especially with Metropolis and Gotham being, neighbors
Mm-hmm.
basically, they should know each other. Batman probably keeps tabs on everybody a little bit, but like Flash and Green Lantern could know each other and stuff
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, like kind of how a lot of, I mean, honestly, that's how like just friend groups form in
Mm-hmm.
general, not just like superhero
Yeah,
teams, but like,
that's how they did it with Justice League the animated series. Like obviously, Batman, and Superman knew
right.
each other. Superman and the Flash knew each other.
Yeah.
At least one of them knew of. Well, it was, Superman knew Kyle
Apparently,
Rayner, but he wasn't. He's not around.
yeah, apparently Batman at least knew about Hawk Girl, which doesn't really make any sense.
no,
I mean, it's Batman, but
but like you just say, "Oh, there's Hawk Girl." Like she was like the one character, like one like I guess like as far as like the name of the character, she was the one that wasn't introduced beforehand. I think at least John Stewart. I don't know if this is before or after Justice League already started, but John Stewart at least showed up in one episode of Static Shock.
that
Um,
was after. I mean, that's
after, okay,
after, but
okay,
yeah,
but
because Static Shock is like
Sony
originally, yeah,
Sony
it's
writes.
like before it starts before Justice League,
Uh,
but basically Static Shock has cameo appearance. It's like late Batman the animated series, then Superman, Batman again,
mm,
and then it's Justice League.
okay.
So it's kind of like it was apt. So yeah, he's met them, but it's been apt. So it's far apt. But
Mm.
it's I did like how they interacted. That made that work. It was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, be that as it may, it's like yeah, I think it's important to have them have at least some interactions. And again, we need to see them. I'm not saying they need to know have every conversation on screen. And
Mm-hmm.
I know it's different for TV shows and with movies, but like yeah, you can't just I don't know, you can't just say, "Oh, we're the just like, you know what I mean? We're the Justice League without having any like forming meeting on screen doesn't work, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't like. There's a way you can do it, and I think the Justice League War movie that kind of kicked off the New 52 universe, although
Yeah,
Batman already had at least one movie before that.
yeah, I
That
get two.
was it two? Was it both
I think so because there
Son of
was the
Batman
Son
and
of
Batman v
Batman.
Robin?
I'm pretty sure because yeah,
Okay,
because
sure.
I'm pretty sure because like because at first I thought it was just a Batman universe and I'm like, oh no, we're doing Justice League. Okay,
Okay,
like,
yeah.
but anyway,
I think the way they formed was fine enough. like especially since you already did know about Batman and he was kind of your point of view character for that movie. But it would have been better if we initially had a Superman movie before that, because I don't know, his portrayal in that movie wasn't the best. I think if we had already gotten to know him, it would have made the team feel a little better. But yeah, instead, the first time we really got to know him was right before he died. So yeah, like it would have been a great opportunity for to have a new great DC animated universe, and it just never came together, and that's a little annoying.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like a lot of things we talk about, it's like, wow, I feel like I could just do this myself and it could be better. But again, not my job, nor no one is paying me to do said job, nor they probably never will. So it is what it is.
Like
But
I definitely don't agree with all the decisions I made when we initially, like 2 or 3 years ago, made our like ideal Justice League universe. But like, I still think if I were to rework it, I would make a pretty good one.
well, I mean, again, we made those in what, like a week, maybe?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, like not even like that was kind of just like, I mean, I remember I kind of just sat down for like an hour and just kind of went with it. Like, obviously, have I had a whole team of people and a lot of time to do research and all this stuff, like
Yeah.
I feel like it would be better. But I mean, considering what I can make in 20 minutes, probably be more interesting than just, all right, Batman, Superman, Crisis. Like, how? Like, when did we get here? Like, I don't even. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. Yeah, I know. I remember one of the issues I remember having was we were all like, it was always like,
oh, hello.
who would be the seventh league member? Because it's like you have to.
Oh no. Hello? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Hi?
Yes.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
there you go.
Last thing you said was who was the seventh member.
Yeah. So basically, I know we like discussed like, oh, okay, so obviously you're gonna have your big three.
Not again.
You again? Oh no.
Oh. Are you there?
Why?
I don't know. It's definitely on my end. I'm getting a little thing that says poor connection, but
Okay. Here, I'm gonna give it a second, and if
Yeah.
it works, then
oh, it didn't work.
I'm like, yeah, it's
Okay.
definitely going down now. I'm like, oh no, it might be on down. I don't know. Poor connection. Oh, maybe it is me. I also have a poor connection thing, so it might be
It
me
might just
also.
be the
Let me
weather.
see.
Like it's not
Just
raining,
not.
but it looks like it's windy and just foggy out. I don't know. Oh, and you didn't hear any of that.
Okay, it looks good.
Okay.
I heard it's not raining, and that's all I got.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I mean, I think the weather's good. Like, or not the weather, but I think my YouTube ads are running, but that doesn't mean anything. They always do that.
Yeah.
But the actual video, yeah, I think my service is okay.
Okay.
I don't know. But anyway.
Okay.
You're clear now, so probably
Cool.
it's good now. But yeah.
Try again.
Anyway, we were talking about like who's gonna be, seventh member, because you got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. You're gonna do a Flash, a Green Lantern, and then Martian Manhunter, and then it's like, okay, what do you do? And I remember because I think you said Aquaman.
Yes.
I
don't agree with that now, but I did say Aquaman.
Right, and I remember I said Zatanna because I feel like that would be one. I think you always need at least one more girl, just because like it evens out.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if it was just Wonder Woman and a bunch of dudes, it would kind of, not that it's weird, but just like something feels off a little bit. There's not at least one more in the main cast, and I feel like Zatanna also kind of is in her own wheelhouse to the point where it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. If I were doing it now, I think I would pick Zatanna or Zatara, one of them two, and then have Zatanna later.
Zatara, yeah, that's a good point.
I would also maybe do I just had Black Canary. I think she would also be a good founding
Canary,
member.
see, that's the thing though. It's like I like Canary, but it's like, is she founding member worthy? And also, like, if
She
you do Canary, you got to do Green Arrow, and if that's the case, why don't you just do Green Arrow? And it's like,
yeah,
it's
I
hard
definitely
because
don't like Shazam and I don't like Cyborg.
no, no, Cyborg is a Teen Titan first of all, so
Yeah.
no, absolutely not.
Yeah, Shazam just doesn't feel right to me. I never liked that. Um,
Yeah, I don't love that. Who else? Maybe. Um, maybe not Blue Beetle, but like the original Blue Beetle.
Ted Cord,
Yeah,
or actually he's not technically the original, but he's like the first one people know.
yeah. You know what I mean?
He
It's like
his
it's like the
I don't know.
Barry Allen thing.
His power set is a little too close to how Batman functions. He's usually it's like a bunch of gadgets.
That's true. Yeah. Maybe the Atom? I don't know. I'm trying to think of
The
like
Atom's
other
not
characters.
bad.
That's what I'm saying. Like maybe?
Like you said, I would prefer a woman if we could.
Yeah, that's
But a
true.
hot girl, her power set's a little too close to Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and like I feel like she doesn't add that much. And again, I feel like if you do Hot Girl, you're just directly doing the Justice League TV show, which
I'm,
is like
I'm
because I feel like
fine with that, but
no, I am too, but I feel like it's a little on the nose. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
What? Who else? Especially like a woman. I don't know because there's not that many. There's honestly not that many like founding member level Justice Leaguers that are women when you think about it, other than obviously Wonder Woman and like maybe a Canary or maybe like Zatanna, but it's like I don't even know.
yeah. I think Zatanna might just have to be it.
I think Zatanna would be a great pick, especially
Yeah.
like because again, I think especially if you also go eventually with a Justice League Dark, you can kind of have that be like her division too.
Yeah.
So that's something I think I would do with my Justice League because kind of like with Young Justice, I like how they have like teams and divisions and
Yes.
like things like, and I think I would do it because I would have like you got Magic's division with Justice League Dark, so you have like Constantine, Deadman, Etrigan maybe or something, and then
Gotta get
Zatanna
Etrigan.
leads that
Yep.
team.
You gotta
Yeah, and then you could have
something.
Batman on occasion or something. Yeah, Hawkman would be good. And then you could have like your intergalactic team, head of like Green Lantern. You have like Orion and other people who are like generally more space dealing, and like maybe Superman, if he's not busy, can occasionally help out. Or like Batman could have like the kind of like the Outsiders kind of thing. I feel like that would be good. I don't know. That's an idea, but I don't know. Flash could. I think Flash would be good for like a not like a recon team, but like a damage control team. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously each member has their own like family of heroes. Batman has Batman family. Barry has
Right.
Teamsters. Superman has Supergirl and Superboy. So
yeah, I feel like I see that's the thing. The stuff like this gets me writing because I'm a big character interactor. Like I love the character moments and how characters connect and what makes them work, and I feel like that would be huge for that.
Yeah, because I think the thing you could do to differentiate DC from Marvel is the sidekicks, like
yes,
like have obviously like in sequel movies introduce Donna Troy, introduce Kid Flash, Robin, etc., and then have a Teen Titans with all of those characters already established. Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel like like if you made a Teen Titans, I feel like you could have sidekicks introduced in movies and then make like a Teen Titans show or something, and then have like a Teen Titans movie just to kind of like because I feel like it would take more than like 2 hours to get all of them together and give them enough screen time.
Well, if they're already established, it wouldn't take more than 10-20 minutes to like have a
but you
reason to get them
also
all together.
but you're probably going to also add people who aren't sidekicks. They're kind of just Teen
Yeah.
Titans because
Like
like
Beast Boy,
Starfire,
Blue Beetle.
Raven, Beast Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because like unless you're doing Doom Patrol, you're not going to be able to introduce Beast Boy. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
you could you could even
right.
do a thing where Beast Boy is just on the team, and then later in a later thing have Doom Patrol mentioned or in a thing, and like
I guess that's true too. Yeah, that is the thing. You can kind of start with certain
Yeah.
characters that their origins aren't like super well known
Yeah,
anyway.
that's why I'm perfectly okay with James Gunn already establishing Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, Mr. Terrific.
Yeah.
Like Guy Gardner, yes, he's technically the fourth, depending on how you count Green Lantern. But I
Hmm.
think it's fine for him to already be there. Like you can then later have Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan
Yeah.
also already be there. Like I don't think you need to have a solo movie for every Green Lantern.
No, definitely. You don't have time. I mean,
No,
there's too many.
exactly.
I feel like if you have another Green Lantern movie, it could kind of be a like half solo movie, half introduce the world of Green Lantern, like a Jessica Cruz origin slash
Mm,
Hal Jordan buddy cop movie
yeah.
or something like
Yeah,
that would be
there
something.
is a he did announce a Green Lantern show that basically a
Okay.
buddy cop Hal
Yeah,
Jordan
that could
John
work.
Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I could see
Or
that
I
going.
mean,
That would be.
if you wanted to really anger people, you could just go ahead and establish Jessica Cruz as your Green Lantern for your Justice League, and there's your woman. If you really wanted to make people mad.
No, that would. I mean, as far as like a team perspective thing, that could work,
Mm,
but that would personally bug me
yeah,
just because I feel like you can't. I feel like you have to start with either John or Hal,
yeah.
and I think. While I think I definitely would put Jessica Cruz in my, I feel like that's like for me that's like starting with like Tim Drake Robin and just like,
Mm.
oh yeah, we're just not gonna do Dick Grayson. And you're just like,
What? Skip it all the way. Okay.
yeah, it's like, don't get me wrong, I don't dislike this character, but why
Yeah.
use him now? That
Mm.
feels wrong.
Yeah, but in a way, it feels you can either start with Dick or you start with Damien.
Yeah, I
It sucks, but
see,
that's what they're doing. He's gonna be Brave and the Bold is gonna be Batman
which
and
is
Damien.
like, which is like, okay if Nightwing's available. Like if you have
Yeah,
like if we're just gonna say like kind of like how like the new 52 movies did it, like that's okay. I mean, I prefer them to just do it
prefer if
all
Tim Drake
personally.
were around or
Yes.
mentioned
No.
once. If you know,
Yes. No, I agree. Like I feel like again, I don't I'm not saying you have to do every single like we don't have to do the signal, but I mean like we
no,
can do
we're
like
not doing
but
that.
like I feel like you should at least have three Robins personally.
Yeah,
So
yeah. With obviously,
at
I think
least
with a mention of one who may or may not be dead.
right. If you want to go for at least four, I'm not going to do five. That's too many. But I
Yeah.
mean, if you want to do four, that's great. If you want to do three, that's fine. You got to do at least two.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't do two, assuming enough time has passed, then I don't
Yeah,
care for it
yeah.
personally. But
But
that's just me.
yeah, but I just
I'm an
feel like,
enthusiast.
especially in animated form, you have so many opportunities and just so much to work with
100%. Yeah.
that you just that the fact that there's only like 6 movies in, they're already doing Crisis is a that's I don't
I
know.
mean, you can tell they have no. I mean, I don't know if they just have no direction or they were just like, hey, you got three movies left. And like, well, if we're doing three movies, we got to make them big. So
Sure.
you don't want to, waste one of your three on like a Aquaman or something small. Like you want to do big, but
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. The idea of a Crisis trilogy is cool though. Like animated movies don't really get like part twos and trilogies like they used to.
It's
So
I
they
think
kind of
it's only going to be a two-parter, but still that is I mean,
either way.
Long Halloween got two. That was cool.
That's true, but also I don't know how you could do that story. Well, yeah, I guess you could rush that,
Yeah.
but
You shouldn't, but you could.
no, you shouldn't. But I mean, but like how many most adaptations are like they'll fit Killing Joke or they'll try to fit. I mean, you could argue pretty much every main comic story. I mean, Death of Superman was two movies, but it kind of wasn't a two-parter, kind of wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
Yeah. I mean, every single big adaptation of Batman in modern media is like is a conglomeration of a bunch of different Batman stuff. Like, oh, we're gonna do a bit of Long Halloween and Dark Knight Returns and Killing Joke also, just all together. It's like
squeeze it
we've only
in
read
there.
3 comics. Here you go.
You just blend them up and just here you go. There's some Batman for you. It's like, oh boy.
Okay. But that being said, I'm still perfectly fine with Matt Reeves doing it again because he did a really good Long Halloween-esque movie, so it's fine.
I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll reimagine my universe and we'll do it again.
I'd be fine with that.
I was say I think I still have the file on my other computer. I could probably get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd probably just. I think I wrote something on my phone one time. I was just bored and I just wrote a bunch of things down. Let's see.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd definitely be okay with that because yeah, I just feel like. I mean, one, I think that's just part of just growing up watching these things and knowing how it works. And yeah.
Oh yeah. Me and my brother like constantly are just like sending each other lists of like Pokemon trainer teams that we fixed because there's a bunch of gym leaders and rival teams and whatever that. But you just like,
right. It's
good.
like
here's how it's gonna be better.
Yeah, like this is actually a competent rock. Like no, I feel that. Like no, if they were competent. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I kind of like added I got like the sub teams for like Justice League Dark and the Teen Titans, obviously, and then like I put so thoughts on like specifically DC fictional cities being real cities and just different names.
Like Metropolis being where New York is.
Yes, like for example, like I did like Metropolis just replaces Manhattan, and then Gotham is like the Bronx, and it's just like that's just what it is, and we just call it different things, but on a map or like so it makes sense that they're near each other, they're next to each other. Central cities like St. Louis, coast cities like San Diego, obviously,
Is Central
Atlantis
City like pretty much in the middle of the country? Is that what it's called?
Pretty much, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was like St. Louis, or I was like maybe something a little higher, maybe like Ohio, but I was like, man, it's too Midwest, maybe.
Is Coast City like LA?
Yeah, it's like San Diego. Yeah. But yeah, it's like I put that. Bloodhaven's like Atlantic City because it's like slightly worse Gotham. Smallville's still. Yeah, I mean, Star cities, Seattle, Midway cities like Chicago, Jump City, San Francisco. Like it just kind of feels. Yeah. I don't know. Like I know that they also like in like DC Comics, like they actually do have real cities that they go to, but I don't know. For me, it kind of in universe because like for me, it doesn't make sense that there's a city called Metropolis that's like not New York.
Yes,
you know what I mean. It just kind of feels off to me because it's just kind of like so New York exists, but then Metropolis is like the biggest city or something. Yeah, or like that.
Yeah, especially if it's also in that same state.
Right. It's like what I mean. It's it's like you can't have your off-brand New York in the world next to New York. You know what I mean? It doesn't really work.
Yeah, like I think it would make sense for there to be, like how there's like a Lexington in almost every single state, or like like a Williamsburg and a bunch of different. Like I think you could have states have names like that, but not like focused on. But then have Star City basically just replace Seattle. I think that's
I think that because and I feel like that's kind of because I think it makes it feel. I know it sounds stupid because it's literally made up cities, but it's like I mean it kind of feels more real.
Yeah,
and it also makes more sense because it's like. If you're in, what I mean, superheroes aren't going to be in like the suburbs or like small town. Like, what I mean? It's like, what I mean? It's like a superhero being in like Raleigh when like Charlotte's right here. You know what I mean? It's like, doesn't really add up. That doesn't really make sense. But
so like, so that also kind of makes it so that you don't run into a situation where there's like 40 different heroes running around Hell's Kitchen, which is a real place that's like a couple of blocks big. It's like, what are we doing?
Right. You're like, why would a criminal be dumb enough to go in the same square mile as all of the Defenders and this, and Xavier's Institute's a bus ride away, and like
Doctor Spider-Man was down the way, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four watching over you, Iron Man's nearby. Like, what are we doing?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why go anywhere else? Like, what are you doing? Like, at least if you're in Metropolis, it's not like, hey, man, let's just go down to Gotham. He's like, no! I'd rather be here. At least I go to jail. I'm not going to get my arms broken.
Yeah, I do like that. And also, I just really, really hope the way James Gunn does it, I really hope he makes the cities feel unique and comic booky.
Yes.
Say what you will about Zack Snyder, I only ever say bad things, but I will say one more. I think the way he made those cities look was so uninspired, so boring. Like literally, the skyline of Gotham and Metropolis look identical, and that infuriates me.
Hmm.
Like
To
Wayne.
be fair, if you,
Yeah.
I'm about to say, to be fair, Metropolis at nighttime, but it's still
But
like
yeah, exactly.
no.
Like
I
even
mean,
at nighttime, you should still be able to see like the big ball LexCorp building should
yes,
be there. Like,
yeah.
and
Like I think it was trying to be hyper realistic because
I
like
don't
I
want
guess a
that.
lot of skyline. Yeah, no, I agree because a lot of skylines in the real world do kind of look similar in my opinion. Then again,
Sure.
as a guy who doesn't really look at buildings, but
Yeah.
I mean that's probably true. But I mean I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I
anyway,
just feel like, and again, I'm always gonna say this every single time. Give Gotham blimps.
yeah, I was going to say I was like we need blimps. They're not practical. There's not nearly enough.
No,
It's a very dumb thing. Be that as it may, I
feels
need
right.
blips and I need gargoyles.
Yeah.
Why? Because why not?
Yeah.
Is it practical to have gargoyles in a city with blimps? Absolutely not.
No.
Are we going to do it anyway? You best believe it. I mean, no, I need, like, I feel like you need gargoyles and blimps just because. And, like, I feel like, I don't know, you could kind of, like, you could make an argument, like, yeah, they were trying to go for this, like, historical thing and then just stopped.
Mm.
And then it just, like,
Okay.
there's just a bunch of,
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
Just like one of
I
my
think it would
all-time
work.
favorite scenes from a DC animated movie actually comes from the Ninja Turtles crossover movie, where like some of the turtles like blasted up into the air and they land on the blimps and they fight up there. Like that's so fun.
Blimps. Why? Because it's Gotham. That's
Yeah.
why. They make no sense. They're not practical. But
And,
yet, I
and
love them.
and you know what? Have Metropolis have flying cars. Cause why not?
Okay, I don't know about flying
No,
cars.
well, okay, if not flying cars, then have it have like monorails and like have it feel more
Okay, yes.
futuristic.
Okay, yeah, no, okay, that, okay, yeah, I'm okay with that. I was about to say, flying cars kind of defeats the purpose of, like, flying
Yeah.
almost, which I probably don't want to do in Metropolis.
Yeah.
But, no, I think, yeah, no, definitely, like, big monorails and, just, like,
Multiple
over the
levels and
top.
just
Yeah, like,
yeah.
just do the, basically, yeah, do the Jetsons without the flying cars.
Okay,
Much. Just
yeah.
make it over the top.
Mhm.
Like, super, the future, today kind of thing. Like, you might as well. I think that's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, just make every city seem unique, make them have their own individual problems. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel like it would be really cool if like, or like for you, like Central City, if they just had like a Flash lane, just because like they
That's
love
funny.
Flash so much,
I
they
like
just
that.
have an extra lane that no one uses. It's just like, he just goes like,
Mhm.
because again, like I feel like even though he's fast enough to easily dodge cars, I feel like Flash is probably the most beloved in his city more than anyone else in there.
Yes.
So I feel like that would be I think that'd be a nice little cool, like a little like red and gold lane on every highway.
Yeah.
I think would be really cool.
I love the idea of the Flash Museum. Like even Metropolis doesn't have a Superman museum. You have a Flash Museum. Okay.
Right? Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. Like, yeah, and I feel like you really could make every city kind of their own, you know? I mean, I feel like you could kind of just really lean into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it just always rains in Star City because it's Seattle, so it's always raining. It's like, why is it always raining? That's how it is. Doesn't that affect your arrows? Not anymore.
That reminds me of that scene from Invincible where he's flying to the city with the Batman parody. It's like, oh, it's the big dome of darkness.
Yeah. He's like, are y'all seeing that? Like, that was I thought that was fun because I'm like, that's literally Gotham. Just like, yeah, no, it's always dark and scary for no reason.
Yeah, I hope whatever the next animated universe they set up does this. I hope James Gunn goes all in on this. So yeah. So even if the Crisis on Infinite Earth movies aren't the best, hopefully the future stuff will be better. So
one day.
Yeah.
You gotta believe.
Okay. One last bit of kind of funny news, then we'll wrap this up. So you know how at the end of every month all the major streaming services release that list of things that are coming and leaving their service in the following month?
Uh-huh.
On the Max list, leaving on December 31st, it listed every single Looney Tunes project. All of them. Every classic cartoon, Looney Tunes show, all like the Looney Tunes back in action, every other movie, this everything. All of them.
Why?
I don't know. But
Are
then
Looney Tunes finally getting canceled? Like, what's happening?
and 12 plus hours goes by of people being like, what are you doing? Like Bugs Bunny is literally your mascot. It'd be like if Nintendo took Mario off of the eShop. Like, what are you doing? I'm gonna cancel my subscription over this. What the heck? And then the next morning, Warner Brothers released a press release where it's like, actually, those were put on that list by mistake. And they're all staying on outside of the Looney Tunes Back in Action movie. That's the only one leaving.
Accidentally. I mean,
you accidentally put on this list I think it was 4 or 5 different Looney Tunes projects in alphabetical order.
so that's my thing. I'm like, how did you accidentally perfectly and exactly in a like? Yeah, okay.
Oh, that's funny. Like you. I don't know where they would have gone. I don't know what their plan was, but they luckily they realized their mistake, but just own up to it. Just why can't billion dollar corporation just admit they were wrong? Why do they gotta make up BS like, oh, we did that by mistake? No, you didn't. You only complained because because you already got set on fire after deleting Batgirl from existence, after having to after deleting that Coyote movie, then resurrecting it to be sold off to someone else. So like, clearly this is a pattern of deleting Looney Tunes stuff specifically. Because you're called out on it, you're like, oh, it's just a mistake. No, it wasn't. Stop it.
It was a mistake once we realized we made a mistake, so that we fixed it. So that's not a mistake.
Yeah, like it's still going to be annoying that the Looney Tunes Back in Action movie is being taken off, because that is actually a pretty solid movie. But considering the Batman and a bunch of other DC stuff is currently on Netflix, maybe it'll go over there. But
yes, but
it's just
I still don't understand. Yeah, why take your own iconic stuff off of your network will never be understood. But
I don't know.
Oh well.
It's like, if they're willing to at least consider getting rid of Looney Tunes, anything is up for grabs. Nothing is safe. Yeah. Okay, I thought that was funny.
No, I mean, it's kind of insane, but here we go.
Yeah. Anyway, is there anything else you want to bring up or discuss before we sign off today?
That's all I've got from here.
All right. So with that, we will see you all next time.